Yeah, recording. Yeah.
So here this is a binary right side view. So we are given the root of a binary tree, and we have to imagine that you are standing on the right side of it, and so you return the values of the nodes, which you can see from top to bottom. So like if you are standing on this side, right? So 1, 3, and you're 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean on the right side, if you, I mean these nodes will be facing you, and
Okay.
yeah, you got it.
And in case if we had some node to the left
Yeah,
on node 3,
it will be hidden, I think.
yeah, and
But
if we don't have 4,
oh, then you can see it, I think, right?
okay, so then that is also visible, right? Okay. Or maybe something, if 4 was not there, even that hidden node is not there, so 5 was there, so that also will be a
Visible,
one
yeah.
of the candidate. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is yeah. This is what we have to print the what do you say? Uh, right side view of it.
Yeah, we just return the values of the node. Yeah, it's like an array of integer what we need to return.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there are, I think, I don't know if there is a brute force way to do it.
Mhm.
So if it was a brute force way, okay, well, maybe go through each and every node and then find out which is the very extreme node. Yeah, but then again, it becomes some way to traverse, right? Either a BFS traversal or a DFS traversal. So
Yeah. Order.
just go
Okay.
through either of them.
Mhm. Yeah, level order kind of, right? You'll be picking the last node, extreme last
Yes,
node.
yes, yeah.
I don't think any brute force should be there for this.
Yeah, that I'm also of that opinion. Maybe the most easiest way to come up with, or maybe very convenient way of coming up would be like doing a level order traversal, isn't
Mhm.
it?
That's
And
most.
yeah, even if it's too much of time complexity, but at least it is achievable, and it will be done with without any errors, is it not? So if
Yeah.
I go to each and every level, and at every level I just take the extreme right hand node and just store that value in one of my resultant array and keep going down till I don't complete all my levels. So that will be my array to return something like that.
I can see.
Mhm. Yeah, so that
This
would be very easy.
simple and easy. Yeah, true.
Right, simple and easy. So no, not error prone, isn't it?
True.
And also in iterative, so no recursion, and
In that.
yeah, no more stack space and everything. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think I have implemented that only
Okay. Okay. So yeah, that is good. Mhm.
because that was more simple, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And
You know.
it's perfect for this problem solution also.
Uh, so this is what like I'm first putting the root into my queue, right? I mean
Okay.
DQ I'm using W-ended
Mm-hmm.
queue,
Mm-hmm.
and as long as the queue is not empty, I'll just calculate the size of a queue, and
Mm-hmm.
then for that size you run a for loop, right? And you pop the element. I'm like one is inserted, so one will pop from front. We are popping.
Mm-hmm.
Now one's left and one's right will push it back. Like 2 and 3 will be there in your array. And since you, at this level only one you have, so once you'll come out of the for loop in that case and add one to your this,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now again two will now it will go for now in our W-ended queue two elements are there at this point, right? Because 2 and 3 we have pushed it.
Mm-hmm.
So again, when you pop two out from here, so two is left and right, you push it, and still you shouldn't. We won't be printing the result because we the size of the queue is two now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, right will come. When right comes, again you push its left and right children, and now the what you say, your size will be over because size was 2. Now at this point 3, you push it back to this, and again exclude this. Right.
Well, so your on line 25, whatever you are pushing in, uh,
Mhm.
so that will be the node value, whatever will be the last node value, what you are actually looking for,
Yep.
isn't it, at this
Yep.
current node? Because then you are actually popping out also from your collection. No, no.
We are popping out.
Okay, okay. So this
First,
is your level order. Okay, so line
yep.
16 is your level order. So when you are done with that for loop, then you come out and whatever is the last node, that value are just appending to your
Result.
yeah results. That is
Hmm.
some way an optimized version of doing this DFS.
BFS.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, yeah. This is much better BFS.
It's a normal only. Yeah. Trivial one.
Yeah, yes, but you are looking for okay.
Often it should be right.
Yeah. No,
Hmm.
that's perfect. Yeah, okay, so this is one, and there are many ways in BFS also. I think, right?
Yeah, they calculate the distance from the center, right? +1, -1 to the, I think, I'm not sure. Like they draw a line like this and they calculate the distance from here.
Mhm.
This will be +1, this will be -1, or the other way around. Again, this distance, and after that, some more manipulations they do. I
Yeah,
don't recall. Yeah,
yeah.
very deep distance. Something.
Or you can also do a DFS way, something like a pre-order traversal.
Okay.
Okay, and in the pre-order traversal, what you can do is you can start with the level. So every level, you have some value for that. So if you start with the highest, the first one, which is root, so that will be level 0. And whenever there is a change in the level, okay, so always go for the next highest level. And whenever there is a, when you get a higher level, so the first node, whatever it comes in, okay, in that pre-order traversal, you just store as your answer.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. But in that case, it might be if you're doing a normal pre-order traversal, you will always be storing the left side values always. So it will be
Yeah.
like a left view. But if you do it the other way, like instead of the normal pre-order where we actually put first we do everything and then we actually go to the left subtree and right subtree. Instead of that, we reverse the right subtree and the left subtree. Then we'll be able to get a right view also.
All the tree. Yeah. That also one.
Yeah, that is one way to do, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe, okay, let me share.
Sure.
So you have done this one. So I'll just share this,
DFS.
right, the DFS one. It is more easier than what you did. Okay. So you're able to see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the our function signature where we pass in the root. And yeah, this is the base case when root is null. So this is one max L or max level variable, which is a member variable. Okay, and setting it to -1. And this is my helper function or a DFS, the pre-order one. I'm just passing the root and the current level to be 0. So if I come here and do this pre-order traversal, so first I check for if the root is null, return, or else I just keep on comparing this level with my max level. Okay, so initially the max level is initialized to -1. So if any value, if it is lesser, greater than my max L, I'll assign my max L with that value. So the first time whenever my level changes and becomes higher, Okay, so immediately whatever that value is from that root, I just store it in my resultant array. Okay, and then just call the right subtree first and always increment my level. And same thing I do for the left subtree and increase my level.
Next level. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is also easy way to do it. And if someone asks us to do find out the left subtree, we just need to reverse this right and left in this case, right?
Or left view. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to have a left view, so that is one you can actually take care of.
And,
Yeah,
so updating the next.
yeah. So this also looks okay. Yeah, and it is like the time complexity in that case will be something like yeah, time complexity will be of n, but
Mhm.
the space will be the height of the
Stack
tree.
height of the tree,
Height of the
which would,
tree, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
of
I
n.
have a question in. So, why are we processing the left tree when we just need the right-sided view? We can just go right, right, right also, right?
yeah, but as I said, like in this case, if you see this example, what he's showing here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? If we did not had a 4 in that case, right? If we did not had 4, but still we wanted 5. So for that, even if I do 3, I still need to go to one's left, which is 2, right? In order to get 5,
Hmm.
isn't it?
Yeah. So if 4 is not there, how will
Uh,
you find without putting the left child, right?
so 4 is on the left of 3, you're saying?
No, like 4,
Yes.
I'm saying let's say 4 is cancelled and you are standing here, right? So you'll have to include 5 in your answer. So if you don't push the twos, I mean, if you don't put the
Oh,
left child, then you won't be able to get
okay. Yeah, that's
that.
the edge case. Thanks.
No, I was also shocked. Like I thought, why not to put only the, the right child? But Santosh got the reason. Like if you skip the
Yeah.
right.
No, that is required because most
Exactly.
of these DFS traversals, they are tricky. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Then we can go to next.
Let's
So
go to
next, like number of count number of nice subarrays. So you are given array of integers and an integer k, and a continuous subarray is called nice if there are k odd numbers on it, and we have to return such nice subarrays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this one, this is what is that? Okay, this one. I mean, they are here. These two subarrays are the ones which are containing 3 odd numbers. Repetition is allowed, I think. That's why we are taking. Okay.
Yeah, repetition is fine. Okay, so we just want to see if we can get the odd numbers,
Mhm.
okay, the k odd numbers, and how many of them we can get that in a one subarray, and so that will be the number of output. That will be number of subarrays what we want to return. So that will be one nice subarray,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So it is subarray, so it has to be all contiguous elements, isn't it?
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And
it should be continuous.
yeah. So then, well, what is the best way to do? Because initially I was thinking we could do it with a two-pointer approach.
Yeah, that, yeah, 2 pointer only.
But is really two-pointer approach the right solution?
I think I did that only 2 pointer approach. Then
Okay.
you are saying that you can improvise it more than often.
No, no. First of all, yeah, whether is it okay and it works for all test cases. That is, even if it takes a high time complexity, I don't mind. Does it
Yeah,
pass all the test cases?
it works. Yeah.
It works? Okay.
I haven't run it. It's my previous code.
Okay. Okay. Can you just submit and see?
Okay, let me
I
submit
was
it.
curious to know about that.
It's long back run. Yeah, let me see if it.
That's fine.
Yeah, yeah, it's part is. I mean,
Okay,
good time.
cool. Yeah, you have good timing. Okay. So let us walk through this because
Sure, sure.
mhm,
What I'm doing initially, both the pointers I'm keeping at Okay, let me draw it then only. So like 1, 1,
Mhm.
2, 1, 1. So initially both left and right will be here, right?
Mhm.
And your K is 3. So
Mhm.
what I'm doing, you keep initially wherever left is there, you will check whether 1 is odd or not using this bit operation. You can check,
Okay.
right, when
That's
you do with hand. Yeah. So since I got 1 odd, so I'll decrease its frequency to 2. Now I can move my left here.
Mhm.
Now again this is odd. I can decrease it to here. But still 1 I have to obtain. So I'll move left here, but what you say, 2 is not a valid one. So I'll have to move my left here. So move my left here, you got 0. So once the K is 0, that means you got a valid window. One such sub-array you obtained out of here, right?
Mhm.
And now what you will do, as long as your K is 0, right? So we'll try to see, like, can we make more sub-arrays out of this, like by excluding, like if I increase my right to here, will I be able to make a sub-array? Which it's not possible, right? Because you'll fall short of 1, 1.
Okay. So in this case, so you are just first you are counting one. That's the
1,
count you're doing. Okay.
yeah.
So then also you start compressing from the right side. Is it that way?
Yeah, I've started now compressing.
Okay. Your eye is from the right side.
Hmm.
Okay. So you try to compress the right side as soon as your K becomes not 0, it increases. Okay.
As yeah, go ahead. Hmm.
So if your K increases, you just get out from this while loop.
Hmm.
And then again, your rest, you are actually adding the
The
count,
count,
whatever you got to the rest. Okay. So that was one count.
1 count, yeah.
And then now you go again in the loop and again try to expand from the left side.
Left side. This is again a valid window. Now, if
Okay.
your right is, this is a valid window. Now
Okay.
you'll start shrinking. So once you, I mean, now K is equal to 0 at this point, once you move the left, right?
Mhm.
So now you'll again start shrinking this. But if you shrink it, you'll fall short of 1, 1, right? Your value of K will increase to 1. So you
Okay.
can't do that.
Good. Okay. No problem.
So, and again, you keep on doing this, but now you won't get any valid results. Only 2 results you will get, right? Because after that, already, if I'm falling short of here and I can't move further, right? Because I'm finished with the array. So even if I move my right, there is no point in moving it because we'll always be fall short of that.
Okay.
Even you can move it. I mean, just early exit
No
and check
worries.
because
Okay.
if you go to 2 is not a valid number and you'll shrink to 1. So even at this point, only 2 numbers are there which are odd. So further
Okay.
moving at
Yeah. So let's do one thing. So this is okay. Can you just
yeah.
Okay, let's take the example 3 test case. Okay. And we'll just walk through on the test case only. We don't write anything in the code. Okay. So I just want to know how that works here because see in this case the output is 16. Okay.
Mhm.
And most of these values are not odd, they are even. Only we have two values which are odd, 1 and 1,
Mhm.
and K is equal to 2. Okay. So in this
Yeah.
case, if I, okay, let me walk through in this case so I'll
Yeah.
understand it much better. So,
Mhm.
okay, first, so this is your I, okay, and actually this will be my J.
Both IJ that is
Yeah, I'll
initially. Yeah.
just mark it down. So
Mhm.
now when you, as per your this logic, I keep on going ahead and unless and until I don't find I to be a odd number.
Till K is 0, you will keep on moving your left pointer.
Oh, J, right? Okay.
Sorry, J pointer, whatever. Yeah.
J pointer. So I'll come till here. Okay, I don't
Mhm.
find this will be 1. And when
Mhm.
I come here, in this case, so it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So when I come on 6, okay,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
that time my K will be 0.
0.
Okay.
So till now you have obtained one window.
Yeah, so this is only one window. So when I
Mhm.
come K is equal to 0, and then I
Mhm.
try to compress
Mhm.
my while loop,
Mhm.
and then I'm going to increase my count also. Initially count was 0, so count
Yeah.
will be 1
Mhm.
for the first K when my eye is over here. So now my eye will start moving. Okay, so I will come here. So at that time, my count will be 2, right?
Mhm.
And I'm still not K0. So then I come, so I will be 3 in this case. Okay, so my count is K is still not 0, it's still 0. And then when I come here, so I will be 4, right? So when my I is 4, at that time my K will be 1, and then I will exit this loop, this while loop, right? I will exit this
Yeah.
while loop. And so my K is equal to 4, and therefore my resultant array, which will be res, in this case, the first time it will be 4,
Yeah.
right? So this will be 4. And then when this is 4, I again go back in this while loop, and my J was here. So my J keeps on increasing, and yeah, it's trying to find and grow the K, reduce the K to 0, but it won't till it reaches the end, isn't it? Okay, so I come here, come here, come here, I'm done. Okay, my J doesn't reduce to 0, it doesn't reduce the K to 0. So in that case, okay, so oh, okay, then I got it. So when I come in this case, my rest will always keep on increasing my count, because I won't, this count won't be made to 0 because I'm not going to enter this at all,
At all,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, so for the first 4 I did. So when my I was here, okay, in that case I will add one more 4,
Okay.
right? And then I will come here. In this case, my I will add another one more 4. Okay, and then when I come at the end, my
Yes.
will add. Therefore, my answer is 16, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
So like you keep on expanding the left till your K is positive, and once the K becomes 0, now you start decreasing your right and keep on counting the subarrays, because that's still a valid subarray, right? If the number are not, I mean, if the K is not increasing and you are shrinking your array, that's still a positive count. I mean, valid count, valid array.
Well, okay. See, why it doesn't? Uh, I really don't get this because yeah. First of all, this case, rest plus is equal to count.
Mhm.
That does the whole trick. Okay, but I don't want to add some count when I don't have a K to 0, isn't it? So that thing, yeah, it is the way it is, but it's very different two-pointer approach,
Exactly.
isn't
Also,
it?
you
It's
are
not a
saying
normal two-pointer approach. It's not our template what we use.
exactly. Yeah. So you are saying at line number 8, we should have added the count when the K is equal to 0, something like that, right? At least one count we could have added, but we are not adding at K. What is your point? I didn't get. I mean, why?
No, yes, no. So your implementation is perfect. There's no issues in it. But I'm trying to compare this implementation with our normal template of a two-pointer approach,
Standard one,
isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, the standard one. So because whenever, see, why I'm going to add my count? I'll add my count only when my K is 0, right? But in these all three cases, when I'm adding my 4 count always, my K is not at all 0. K is 1, right? I have moved one of this odd out of the my window, isn't it?
But
And
still, that's
my
valid array. But still,
it
that's
is
a
it is valid. It is
yeah.
valid exactly. So if you look at the whole the nums array and then you try to find out, it makes sense perfectly fine. But the way the implementation, if I were to solve this and implement in an interview, so
Yeah,
yeah, if it was a very standard template, yeah, then it's very easy to come up with, right? But
yeah.
yeah, so this part actually, when you write here this thing, it's perfectly fine, but yeah, it won't be easy to come up with. That is what I'm trying to, and I'm
Exactly.
trying to think loud. So is there some way it matches our logical sense, why we are doing that? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I got your point. Yeah.
Right.
So other way would be we can do it other way also, right?
Yeah, so there are one more way. What and the other you can say is, like, you can actually take into account the index positions of the odd values always, you know. So
Okay.
these odd values, and then you actually mm, I would say start iterating only on that or those are odd values.
Mhm.
And whenever you get them, you're just fine, because now if you have these odd values, and if you are able to find what is that k distance between both of them, right? So if you are able to find a k distance, then you can always take the left subtree and the right subtree of them, and then the right subtree and left subtree, whatever the values, how many of them are there. Because if you take the indexes,
Yeah.
so you know there are some values beyond that also, on the right side and the left side. So they will surely form a sort of subtree, or maybe subarray of different
Subarray.
size. Yeah. And
Got
then you
also.
can find the count and then multiply. Yeah, that is one way, but that is also not so easy to come up with.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe I can share that and
Yeah,
we
sure.
can walk through. Uh, okay, so this is the one what I was referring to. And if you, okay, if you look at, this is one odd indexes, I'm just storing all of them. And initially I'm just inserting a -1 at the very beginning, to indicate some value beyond this number index. And then whenever I get any of these odd index, I just push in this into my odd index array. And at the end also I push the last value, which will be the size of my odd index. So I have this -1, which is the left extreme side, and the n, which will be the right extreme side. And then again I start with 2 pointers. So now my first left will actually point to 1. It won't point to 0, because 0 is the extreme one index, which actually is not a part of the array, right? The same as with the extreme right also. So I take L, which will point to 1, and R, which will point to K. Okay, so they are actually K distance apart, L and R. Okay, and now this M is just the size index of the current odd index array. And if my right pointer is actually equal to the end of my IDX, it means that I can't find anything more, just return it 1. Okay, so
Yeah.
this is my result. And in this case, I'm just moving my right pointer, which is or at the extreme K, and just keep looking for M -1. So just before my end of this size, because the last end value is N. So I just want one value before that. And the reason is because I want to do some addition in this case, like the R +1. So therefore I'm taking one value lesser than this when I'm comparing it here. So I just take the left subarray in this case and the right subarray. So every time I look for the left pointer where currently I am, and just subtract with left -1. Okay, so in this case, if I'm here, okay, so what I do is my L is here. Okay, so I take the L -1, in this case will be -1, right? So if I take the difference between all of this, in this case it is going to be, this is at 3. 3 minus of -1 will be 4, right? So therefore
Yeah.
my left num will be 4 in this case. Okay, and if you look at this right nums, my R was here in this, and R was right, R will be something like how this was 1 2 3 4 5 6, right? Okay, so 7. So in this case 7 will be the end of this array. So 6 7 8 9, and it was 10, right? So
Yeah.
10 minus 6, again this is also going to be 4. Okay, so if I have these two right and left num values, which are 4 and 4, then I just multiply both of them, because I have a sub array over here like this and a sub array over here. So I can still form many sub arrays out of that, right? Because yeah, like I can take it like this. This one will be one sub array. Okay, So if I do all these combinations, right? If I take this will be a second subarray, and then I keep on increasing on the right side, right? So like that, if you do, and that is the reason we are multiplying. Okay, and the same thing I can do like this also. I can reduce from the left subarray, okay, and like this, and also, so if I have to come get all the 16 combination, it will be like this, then like this, then like this, and like this, right? So therefore, if you multiply by 4 and 4, whatever the value number of elements we have in those two subarrays, so that will be 8, 4, 4, the 16 in that case, right?
Yeah.
And then again, you increase your left and the right subpointer. So in this case, if you increase your right, you are going to go out of that while loop, and then you are good. So this is also one way of doing it. So just get all these values and always keep two distance apart of k every time, and then keep on increasing your r. Okay, so when you're increasing r, because you're done with your left and right, and at one computation itself, you get all this one, whatever you can get in those two subarrays uh, to your left and right. So that is one thing. And whenever you get, you just keep on increasing your r, and also you have to increase your left, isn't it? Because you keep on moving in this case, like always. If you had something more here, anyone, so then you will be moving from that position to this position. So because if you are done with getting a subarray, nice subarray over here, because these two are done, and if we assume that we had another odd index over here, so we could easily jump from this one to this, and then we calculate what is to the other side. In this case, it will be from here, right? So that will be also an easy way to do, because we are just moving always k arrays at a time, k distances at a time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is one, but I'm also of the opinion that this is also not so easy to come up,
Yeah.
but
Like,
this looks okay. For now, we can actually walk through. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, both of the approaches are not so straightforward, I would say. Yeah.
yeah, but good to know like both of them. Yeah.
Right, yeah. But some way, if we start thinking loud, then maybe we'll come to a solution, either of them, right?
Yeah.
And that is the reason we try to walk through and think loud.
In that case, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Next, okay. Okay, this one. Okay. So single number. So you're given a non-empty array of integer nums. Every element appears twice, except for one. You have to find that single one, and you should implement it in a linear time without using any extra memory. Yeah. So with extra memory, you would be like use a hash map and generate the frequency, right? And check the one which has
Hey,
frequency.
hi Shashank.
Word.
Which sum are we discussing? Like, did we discuss all the sums, previous sums,
Yeah.
questions?
Yeah, we have done. We are on last one.
But when did we start?
We start at 8 a.m. PST, right, Santosh?
When, did the time change? I didn't realize that.
Yeah. I think it has
Why
changed.
so much time changes?
Because some people were like in the PST, they used to tell that like 9 their office starts, right? 9:30, something like that. So it's like we have decided to
So
do
now
it.
it's 8 to 9. Okay, because it's hard to keep up like so many. I thought it's 8:30 and I joined now. Okay, no problem.
Yeah. But it's 8 from now on. I mean, it's been 10 days, I think. 10, 20. Yeah.
Oh, it has been 10 days. It's been at 8. Because yesterday I joined, it was at 8:30, right?
That was a big problem. No, we have already discussed one greedy approach that took half an hour. And then
Oh, then I joined. Okay. Yeah, cool.
no problem. We'll discuss it if time permits, because now today it's Friday and we cannot.
Okay.
Let's go with this. So this is a single. So yeah, array is given and you have to find the single number in it. So what do you suggest? Brute force optimize anything? And what should be? One, like I told, like
Yeah, so
frequency.
we can have an n square solution, right?
N square
So
also.
if we take very simple things first,
Mhm.
we can do it in n square also. So start with any number, okay,
Yeah.
and then check if we have the same number there. If it is, then just ignore it, then move to the next one.
Mhm.
Okay, in that case you don't need any space.
Exactly. Mhm.
Yeah, you don't need a space, right? So that will be one way, or else use something like a map or hash table.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay,
That also.
so that will be with extra space, and but the time complexity will be linear in that case, right?
Yeah.
Okay, some hash set also should be fine,
And yes.
right?
And now we have to avoid space also. So then this comes your XOR operation, right?
Before coming to XOR, there is one more way. What they
Oh, I got it. It's like indexing way you are saying.
uh,
I'm not sure if you are
yeah,
talking
no,
about.
see, okay, yeah. So if you say the what, yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying like this is a zero. I mean, at zeroth index you go and you see 2. So it will take you to 2 and put a minus over here. Then you go to 1 index and you see it will again take you to 2. But it's already been visited. No, it won't work in this case. Okay.
Yeah, not this one. What is, there is some math approach what they say. Okay, so if we take the sum of all the values, and so if we have something like this, hmm, okay, can I annotate here?
Sum of squares and taking the difference something, right?
Right. So what you do is first you start with this two. Okay, so you have two variables.
Mhm.
One is the sum, the normal sum. Okay,
Okay.
and this will be sum, and this I'll have sum two. Okay, let me write it to my hand. The sum two. So this sum two will be actually adding only if there are duplicates. Okay, so when I come to this first two, okay, so my sum will be, first will be 2. Okay, and then when I come to the second two, I know that this is a duplicate, so I will add this in this one also, and add this to this guy also. Okay, so then
Yeah.
when I come to 1, so I cannot add in this duplicate one, so I'll add it just to here. So now if you take the addition of this is going to be 5, and this will be 2, right? And then
Yeah.
at the end, what we can do is, so we can take this one, so 5, so we can just take this 2 multiplied by sum 2, okay, and then if we subtract that from our normal sum, okay, so it will be like 2 into 2 and minus 5, or if we take it the other way, so this will be 4. Yeah, if you can take an absolute value also, so 4 minus 5 will be equal to minus 1, so we can take an absolute value and that we can return.
So in total sum, you are subtracting that sum which are repeating.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so you just take whatever is repeating, you multiply by 2, so that will be that you can remove from your total sum. So if this is your total sum,
these are two pass, right?
no, it can be done in one pass. Okay, I'm just showing it like that. If you do it properly, so see, so if I have this total sum, okay,
Okay.
so I'm just going, and this is the sum of duplicates. Okay, so first I go for this first two, I add it here. Okay, I don't add anything here, and then when I come to for the second two, I add it here also, and add it here also in the same iteration. And then when I go to the last index, which is 1, so I add it here, I don't add it here. So at the end, what I do is I take this TS and then subtract it with this 2 multiplied by the sum.
But how do you know the duplicates before even like you need extra space for that?
Yeah, we need a space also. I'll have to have a set in that case. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then makes
Yeah.
sense.
Or
So
you
yeah,
can
to find the duplicates, I'll have to have a set.
yeah.
So yeah, I'll also store it as set because then I won't be able to find a duplicate, right? So first I'll store 2, then I know it is a duplicate, and at the end I will also store the 1, but I'm not going to use that anyway. Yeah. So within additional space, you can do this with in a single pass.
Mm.
Yeah. So one additional space would be use a map or something like that,
Mhm.
and this will be one way of doing it.
Exactly.
Right.
Or you sort the array, but that time will take more to find the duplicates.
Yeah. So that will be login. Yeah, absolutely. That is also one option. Right. So if you sort it, then you can just go do a second pass, because first pass will be your sorting, and second pass if you try to look into it, and the first any element which is not a duplicate, then you return that one.
No.
Mhm. Yeah, so this is okay, but the best and the easiest way would be the one what you are showing here, right?
Yeah, so
Okay, the XOR one. So can we walk through that XOR?
yeah, so similar numbers will give you 0, right? So 2 XOR 2 will give you 0, and 0 XOR any number is the number itself. So at last we'll obtain that. So this is what I mean. I'm taking initially XOR as the number, this number,
Mhm.
and now going from here to here and XORing. So if I XOR, these two will be 0, and again when 1 comes, 0 XOR 1 is 1, so it will return 0. No, the result will be stored in the XOR itself.
Okay, so initially your XOR, you're initializing it with the first number.
Number.
Okay, and then when you come to the second index, you just XOR it with that,
Mhm.
with the previous number. So whatever is if it was the duplicate, it's going to cancel all the bits.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if it is not, then it will keep on setting those bits which are for the other numbers. They will still be there unless and until you don't find duplicate, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm. And this can be done in of linear space, sorry, linear time complexity and constant space.
Constant space.
Yeah, and the most optimized way. But we just need to know how the XOR operation works. I think most of us know about that, right?
After you have taken that XOR, what
Sorry?
binary try, you took that XOR operation, calculate the maximum XOR of two numbers.
Yeah, but XOR operation, the normal XOR, we are all aware of it. That is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, that is a
Exactly, yeah.
different one. Yeah, that's not difficult to come up with at least.
If we have time, can we discuss that count nice pairs in an array? I joined while that finished, so I'm just curious.